Hello and welcome to Long's Toys. Today I have a Transformers Robots in Disguise review for you. This is Minicon, Deployer, Decepticon, Fracture, and Airazor. So as you can see here, you do get one Minicon. Comes with this set. There's kind of a large plastic thing in the background to little bits of armor pieces and stuff that you can put on there, which we'll take a look at. And then you have Fracture, the Deployer, on this side. Here's a picture of the Minicon on that side. Picture of Fracture on that side. Not a whole lot going on the top of the box or the bottom. Shows you that the Deployer version of Drift is also available. A little bit of the picture here on the side you can see. Unfortunately, they kind of have the weird Deployer gimmick, just kind of hang on the side in robot mode, which is kind of weird. But we'll take a look. We'll get it out of the packaging and get a better look at this thing. Alright, so here we have Fracture and the Minicon out of the packaging. The Minicon can get plugged in. There's a little tab here and a little hole in the back. So you can peg them all in there for storage. But to me, this is just a plastic frame to hold these pieces. You see these with a lot of toys. Ninja Turtles uses these. You know, other kind of little plastic things where it's just a way for them to kind of deliver the pieces to you. Once you break these out, there's not really a reason to keep this plastic thing. So I don't really know why he needs to peg into it. I guess it's just a way to deliver it to us. And it does look cool, but, once you break them out, it's not like you can put them back in. It's not storage for them. So I'm going to put him off to the side for a second. We're going to take a look at Fracture. Honestly, I think he looks okay. I like the coloring. I like the head sculpt. I'll try to get in close. The head is very tiny. It's very tiny. But it's a nice face. I like his expression. I like the eyes, the little mohawk. And you can see his big Decepticon symbol there. You can scan for the app game. But with these, I'm glad that we're going to be getting a Warrior class version of Fracture, because this is not the best figure. The gimmick really takes over and kind of ruins certain aspects of the toy, in my opinion. There's really not much articulation. He can swivel here at the shoulder. The head does not move. There's no elbow or hand articulation. At the waist, the feet can kind of come out, but that's it. He can bend at the knee, and there's some ankle articulation, but that's because of the transformation. Also, this big gimmick thing here hanging on his back makes him ridiculously back-heavy, to the point that he just wants to go, fall back to the right, because he's just got this massive thing hanging off his back. Now there is a lever down here to try to move this down. I don't know. I've tried to see if anything's catching on it or what, but it's really tight on mine. Like, you really have to give it a lot of force. And it doesn't lock in place down there, which I really wish it did. But it kind of moves down here, and his right arm raises up. And if you can see, he's kind of got his finger pointed out like he's commanding. And then you would have this guy loaded in here. And so he would be in, and then you would swing down, and like he's telling him to launch. And then you could fire, which I think is cool, but most of the time, I feel like this gimmick is already kind of a little broken just from me trying to do it, because it's so tight and I'm trying to put so much pressure on this lever piece. And it's going all the way down. And it kind of works, but then you can see when it comes back up, it kind of hangs weird. It used to go a lot closer to the body and kind of snap in. I don't know. So I feel like the more you use it, the worse it's going to get. Other than that, it's a decent figure. A decent representation of the character. It's just not a lot of articulation, and you can tell the gimmick is pretty much taking over. But we'll go ahead and we'll move into the transformation, if I can get him to stand. Kind of have to pitch him forward to get him to stand, but we'll move on to the transformation. So the transformation is very simplistic. You're going to kind of lift up the shoulder pads, and you're going to see that there's a little tab. And right on both sides of the neck, you can see the holes that they're going to plug into. So you just kind of pop that in there, do the same with the other shoulder pad, and pop that in. And that's going to kind of keep the arms in place. You're going to just sandwich the legs and feet together, and they'll snap together real nice. You're going to kind of bring them up, and you'll see that there's a big hole right here, and this tab right here from the feet, or the back of the legs, I should say, is going to peg in there. And then you're just going to push the legs in just like that. And then you can see that this little cutout here is just for the hands, so you're literally just going to fold them in Now mine, especially the right hand, fits in really tightly to the point that it's kind of hard to get it back out. But that's it. Actually, you can push this back up, and you'll see there's a little clip here on this gray piece, and that should come up and clip on. It should clip on this, but like I said, from all the times I've tried to get that lever to push it down, it's kind of warped the spring, and now this is not clipping in here all that well. But it's supposed to clip in like that, but you can see the spring is not letting it stay in. So it's already kind of messed up. But here is the vehicle mode, and if this fit in here and stayed, which would be nice, but apparently from playing with it for 10 minutes, the spring is already messed up. There we go, it's a little bit better. That might stay for a minute. So there you go. It looks, I mean, it still leans a little bit to the side. It does not roll very well. I don't know, it's just not that great of a bike mode. I feel like, again, because it's so heavy on this side, where it should normally stay up like this, and the wheel that's on here just doesn't really balance. I feel like it should be a little bit bigger wheel just to make it kind of stay a little straight. But anyway, the deployer version here, or the deployer function, which is the main point of this toy, you put it in, and that will click in, and it's just kind of lightly wedged in between those two pieces of plastic so that it won't get stuck. And then you press this button right here, and I mean, it does fire these things pretty well. I mean, this is the kind of whole point of the toy, and at least it does this right. It will fly these things across. So it is nice that the deployer function does work well. It's just a shame that the kind of robot and vehicle mode both kind of suffer as a result of it. But now we'll move on and take a closer look at the Minicon. Alright, so here's Airazor, the little Minicon, in this kind of, deployer transformation. Basically, all you have to do is, these kind of peg together, but after a while they kind of stop pegging together. Kind of a theme with this toy. Just kind of make sure they're unpegged and then pull the two hands apart, and then that's it. Now his face is kind of hard to light just because it's kind of sunken in from the big shoulder pads. But you can see he's got a cool little open red mouth and red eyes, and I really like him. I think he's neat. He's just a, little guy kind of running around. I like his legs. Transforming him back is super easy. Push the hands back in, and then you can just kind of push these together. And then that's it. He's transformed. And then you just pop him back out. Now he does come with all these little pieces of armor. He's got a little chest piece here you can plug in. He's got some wings you can plug into his hands, or his forearms, I should say. He's got this piece, which will come around and peg on the back. Am I doing this right? I think so. Just like that. This piece can kind of plug into his forehead to give him kind of a giant rhino horn, which I think is pretty neat. And he's also got these two other pieces, which can plug into the front of his legs. Let me grab the other one real quick. So I think these look cool. I definitely like them. I think I like them better with just the normal transformation without all the armor. But the armor's nice. It's a nice option to have. I think that's pretty cool that you can kind of soup them up a little bit. But I even like them just with nothing else. Although the rhino horn is kind of hilarious. But yeah, I think he looks pretty good with and without the armor. Another thing you can do, these two front pieces of the armor that were on his front legs, you can take off and you can put them on Fracture's arms. And that looks kind of cool. I think the blue looks good with the purple. I think it breaks it up a little bit, just like it does on this little guy. So I think that's kind of cool. So honestly, they're not amazing figures. I think the Minicon is great. I really have no issues with the Minicon whatsoever. I definitely think it's worth it. The whole set is $19.99. I found it today at Toys R Us. And the minifigures that sell separately are $5 each. So if you figure he's worth $5 of this equation, this guy's worth 15. I definitely think he's worth his 5. Fracture, I would say, is really worth more, like 10. So if these sets were like 15, I would say they're totally worth it. 20's not a ripoff or anything. It's really just, honestly, I don't hate the figure. I really don't. My biggest problem is this weird spring-loaded interestingness over here. If this was just simply this clicks into place and then you just pull it back and it unclicks and you just manually rotate it down and it clicked into place down here, and even if doing that caused the arm to rotate up and stay in place, I'd have no problem with that. I really don't mind that this rotates down and makes the arm come up. It's the fact that it's hard to do. And you press this and sometimes it's easy and sometimes it doesn't. And I wish there was a way to lock it in place like this. Because if I put it on a shelf in robot mode, I want it to stay like this. And just the fact that there's no way to do that. So, and because it has to hang off the side like this, it makes him really back heavy. And he kind of wants to keep falling back to the right. If you could lock this down, then he wouldn't be back heavy at all. I mean, he might slide a little bit, but because the weight would be on the bottom, it would be better distribution of the weight, and I wouldn't mind it at all. So I wish this wasn't spring-loaded. That's really my major complaint. It's not a terrible figure. It doesn't have a lot of articulation, but I understand it's a gimmick figure, so articulation does suffer. It's not going to have all the articulation of a warrior figure. I understand that. And I don't mind the spring-loaded deploying gimmick. I think that works great. I mean, when you put the deployer in there and then you fire it, they launch. I mean, they really do fly a decent, distance. That deployer gimmick works great. It's just the weird spring-loaded, like above his shoulder, then to rotate down towards the ground. And maybe with time that'll loosen up and get a little bit better, and I hope it does. And then that's only my only complaint. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I'd love to hear your opinions if you've gotten a hold of one of these and yours is tight. Maybe it's just my figure. Maybe other ones rotate back and forth very easily, and that's great. And I hope it is just mine. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you've gotten one of these, I'd love to hear your feedback and let me know if it is just mine that's kind of tight. But yeah, I'd love to hear from you guys. Please like and share this video. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I hope you've enjoyed this look at the Minicon, Deployer, Decepticon Fracture, and Airazor from Transformers Robots in Disguise. And thanks for watching.